This one.
Best athlete on Fox TV.
Is here with us. Her name is Sarah Kuster.
Damn, that's my girl.
Okay, the best
Nice intro on Fox TV.
Okay.
I like that
it. Talking Bucks Celtics. Milwaukee completing their gentleman's sweep for the Celtics last night. It was a rout. 116-91 the final. Bucks now await the winner of Raptors-Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Kyrie had a tough series, closing it out with 15 points on 21 shots in Game 5 in what could be his last game as a Boston Celtic. Here is Kyrie after the loss.
Truth be told, it's no time to be disappointed. I think that, you take your lessons, you take your ass whooping that they handed us, and you move on.
I'll be the first to say that this is, as far as any other year that I've been a head coach, it's certainly been the most trying. I think I did a bad job. Like, at the end of the day, like, as a coach, if your team doesn't find its best fit together, that's on you. And so I'll do a lot of deep dives into how I can be better.
I know I won't forget something like this, and the taste of feeling defeat in in this type of style, being down 1-4, I haven't felt. So for me, it's just moving on to the next thing, and just seeing where that ends up.
All right, Sarah, look, you got to cast blame, and it's a wide net. But if you had to, sort of zoom into somebody, who would you say was most to blame for what happened?
I would dish it out to everyone. I don't think you could point to one particular player or the coach and say it's their fault for how the season unfolded.
Oh, come on, Kustok. We need better than that. You're covering this league. You got inside information. And I already did a segment where I blamed everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say that was his exact move.
But we know that's the way it works with every team, with every organization. I will say I respect the fact that Brad Stevens went up there and said, I did a bad job. Yes. I need to look back and reflect on what I could have done better. Throughout the course of this entire season, even dating back to the preseason, he continued to emphasize what a challenge it would be. And it wasn't going to look as easy as all of us speculating, hey, you got a team that's returning from the Eastern Conference Final to go along with 2 more All-Stars that you're adding. I would have loved to hear Kyrie Irving take some of that responsibility. I would love to hear him say, he said, this isn't a time to be disappointed. It absolutely is. You just got rolled by a monster of a Milwaukee Bucks team. But, what part did you play in that? And this is exactly what he had asked for. He wanted the leadership role. He wanted to be able to lead a team to a championship, and he had his opportunity. But it's not just, I wouldn't just point to Kyrie. What step did Jason Tatum take? And it wasn't the one we anticipated. Some inconsistencies from Jaylen Brown. Gordon Hayward, we knew it was going to be a long road, and understandably so, to get back to where he was coming and returning from the injury he faced. But I think you can go down the list, and there had been a lack of continuity throughout the entire season from this team. But at no reason do I think we had any reason to expect it to be different than what we saw throughout the course of the season.
So you guys, when you were spreading the blame around, understandably, talking big picture, over the Celtics played this year, 91 games. Over the course of the full 91-game season, Danny Ainge built the team maybe a little improperly. Brad Stevens didn't connect. Tatum and Brown didn't get better the way we thought they would. Hayward never got healthy. Kyrie, okay. But the reality is this. Nothing that happened in the regular season would have mattered if Boston would have beaten Milwaukee. They would have said, hey, Kyrie was right. That the regular season didn't matter. They had a switch to flip.
Well, maybe not necessarily beat them, Nick, because there's only a few people walking the earth that think, Mannix, that they actually have more talent than Milwaukee. But a very competitive series.
It certainly would have been fixed by beating them, and it maybe would have been fixed by what you're saying.
And if the younger players kept getting better.
Right, but so we have to talk about what happened these last 4 games. What happened these last 4 games more than anything else is their superstar. The one guy that, while they've been accumulating assets over the last 6 years, they gave some away for. The one guy that they cashed in some of those chips for, when he all year long said, I am waiting for one moment. That moment is the playoffs. In the final 4 games of their season, a 4-game losing streak that ended their season, he had quite literally the worst 4-game stretch of his entire NBA career. That is unspeakably bad. Kyrie in these playoffs played 9 games. He had 2 games where he was above 38% from the field.
Wow.
The final 4 games, he was 4 of 18, 8 of 22, and then promised he would never go 8 of 22 again. Then went 7 of 22 and said, I should have shot 30. Then went 6 of 21 with 1 assist and said, it's not a time for disappointment. In the final 4 games of the season, his career with the Celtics, he missed more shots than he's ever missed in a 4-game stretch, shot a lower percentage than he's ever shot in a 4-game stretch. So sometimes it is exactly what we're seeing. Now, if Kyrie played great, maybe they still lose, but they don't lose 4-1. They don't lose all of these games. They are still playing today. They're not the only series that's over. And so you can't say, judge me based on this. You can't be the salesman that says, I know I haven't hit the goals, wait till the end of the month. I got all these people coming in. Don't worry about this now. I know I'm behind. Wait till the end of the month. Then the end of the month comes and it's like, oh, none of those folks showed up. It was exactly what it was throughout the year and not be judged extra harshly. Kyrie asked for this and he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, I can understand criticizing Kyrie. We do that all the time as far as professionals and the key guy on the team. But the person who hired him should get some criticism too. And that's Danny Ainge. Brad Stevens did not do a good job with the best roster that Danny gave him. Danny traded for Kyrie. And for those who are in the basketball know, Nick, you and I knew. Sarah, you know some of the things about Kyrie that people know. He is not a good leader. Like, he might not ever be a good leader. And Danny Ainge traded for him. That didn't work out because they utilized those assets. That wasn't a rent Kyrie for 2 years. No, that was going to be the cornerstone of them building into the future.
And then getting Anthony Davis.
Yes. So now that it failed that, oh, I didn't know, because that's one of the things in free agency. You don't know what you're buying. And the Kyrie Irving that they got, that's really who he is. He's a young player. At 27, he's not going to change that much. He's not going to be a great leader. And that responsibility was Danny Ainge, because that's his job to go out and know that.
But I think after being around this team, watching them, calling their games throughout the course of the season, I bet if you asked the Boston Celtics who is the leader on this team, they would point to Al Horford. He would be a guy that they would look to as more of a leader. I'm not sure everyone on that roster was buying into Kyrie Irving being the leader of the team. Would they point to him as being the best player on the team? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not sure that everyone was in line with him being the vocal leader, the guy that was going to take them where they intended to go. And I think that was part of the issues. There was so much blurriness in roles. There wasn't I think any successful team, you know exactly what's asked of you. You know your roles. You know the expectations. And I think there was a lot of confusion in that throughout the whole course of the year.
Sarah, you know this being in locker rooms. Yeah, we know that there's certain people, they are really the leaders, but the best player is leading, either good or bad. Now, he might not have leadership skills, but his whole disposition, how he accepts things, he's leading either good or bad. The coach is responsible. When they put responsibility on you offensively and defensively, that means you are a leader. So in doing that, you know, I believe that the Celtics, they really misdiagnosed who Kyrie Irving was going to be.
How much does this affect his free agency now, his marketability in free agency? You think other teams watched, other players watched and said, I don't know if I want all of that on our team? Or is it maybe perhaps his injury history that might waive some red flags?
Kyrie Irving is still a supremely talented player. And he's someone who I think that you understand the type of individual he is and just how he may be different in terms of personality and how he approaches things. I think it's a question of who you piece him with, what teammates do you surround him with. I don't think, to me, there's a question on his talent or what he can become. I think more of it is he going to buy into what it is that you're looking at big picture? If you're trying to compete for a championship, is he going to buy into what the coach is saying, to what the teammates are looking at, and how the entire roster fits as a whole?
I agree with most of that, but I think Kyrie had a chance this postseason, even without winning a title, maybe even without winning this series, to show the basketball world, I can be the main option on a champion. We know LeBron can. We know Durant can. I believe Steph can. Kawhi. I think Giannis is showing it. Harden hadn't done it. I believe he can. Kyrie had a chance to make it clear, I can be Batman. I asked him for traded to be Batman. Kyrie is best served to be a way overqualified Robin. And when Kyrie makes his free agency decision, while he might not publicly say that, when he makes his decision, he's going to confirm that he knows that. because he's going to, in my mind, sign back up for that role, either with Kevin Durant in New York or with LeBron James in Los Angeles. It's where he's more comfortable. It's where he thrives, because this right here, this wasn't for him.
All right, Sarah, stick around. Coming up, did the Rockets blow another chance to take down the Warriors? That's next. First things first.
Whew.
It's supposed to be in Florida playing the big battle.